Hey guys, of all the tools that I have, this one potentially has been the one that's giving me back the most in terms of longevity. The Power Plate or any whole body vibration tool is really optimizing your muscle contraction. So, believe it or not, and it sounds hard to believe, every time you do something here, as opposed to standing on the ground, you are contracting your muscle at 50 times per second. Did I say that wrong? No, 50 times per second. So the muscle activation potential is so great. Now, this is great for those of us that are able to do whatever we want to do, pretty much. But for those who are limited by certain old injuries, maybe a little swelling and inflammation in joints, and maybe we can't do squats or lunges because of our knees or hips or something else, this provides a way to statically hold a movement. And so when you're statically holding, we are in a pose, say in yoga, your muscles are contracting, right? It's just not contracting in movement. It's not quite as significant, let's say, as resisting gravity with an external load. However, when you add whole body vibration with something like the Power Plate Move, which is my whole body vibration of choice, you actually are able to stimulate more. And it's proven in science. There is a lot of science behind it. In fact, it's why it was my choice. Many of the studies on whole body vibration are done by third-party individuals, not the company itself. That gets a little wishy-washy, right? But done using this as the model for subjects. So I'm going to demonstrate for you moves that I use to use this weekly. So it's not one of those things that sits here and collects dust. It's actually something that I will use almost every day when I'm cooking dinner, because it sits here between my living, dining, and kitchen, very open model home. Not everybody would want that. I get it. But if you've got it in a place where you are inclined to go, you use it regularly. That's my motto. So why would we want to hide the fact that we're doing things for our health? I think it's time to second thought what we've always thought, like, no, that goes in the gym or the garage or the basement. Why would we do that when really your health is your penthouse? That's food for thought for another day. But I'm going to show you how I incorporate it into warm-up, great to stimulate and activate muscle. How I'm using it and used it actually to reverse bone loss, pull myself out of osteopenia back to healthy bone in my hip and my spine. And I'm improving still in my forearm and due for another test. But I'll show you how I use it to do that specifically in core and in some strength training exercises, how I use it for balance exercises as well as strength training. All of these things mean you can use it on a given day. You can't strength train every day. We have to have the recovery in between, but you can use it for balance or use it for core. Or let's say you've just had a really tough day and you are sore in your calves. You can turn it on. You can drape your calves across it. Or you have somebody else in your home who is more compromised health-wise. Circulation isn't good. You can stand on it. I could sit in a chair, drape my feet on it, and or I could use a ball underneath my feet and roll it for additional stimulation, just to take care of myself in so many different ways. Muscle, bone, lymphatic stimulation, and weight loss are all documented benefits of using whole body vibration. Here's how I use mine and how you might want to think about using yours.
This is something that can be done any day, but often for an activator of muscles in your feet, particularly if you have plantar fasciitis or just arches that give you some shame once in a while, maybe from wearing those heels. This is simply, you can see what I'm doing sitting in a chair, but I am amplifying a massage to my feet with a ball. You could certainly do this on the floor if you don't have a power plate, but I'm amplifying it by turning on the controls so that I'm actually getting more muscle stimulation and activation while doing this. So it's rolling through and splaying open and close. Next, very similarly, all of this could be done, by the way, anytime, but it could be a great activator. I'm opening up through my quadriceps and hip flexors here, front of the thighs. Most of us need this if we sit very much at all during the course of the day. It's one of the postural issues we're plagued with in contemporary lifestyle. So again, great warm-up, activation. Here, I'm lying on the floor, not doing anything. So there's no sit-ups happening here, by the way. That's just to massage the calf. Now, active warm up. So I might warm up in squats, one leg on, one leg off, just to get hips, glutes, thighs, major muscles ready. You don't have to do a lot. You're just doing maybe 5 of each, one leg up, one leg down, and that's on purpose. You're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage. You could certainly stand on it with both. Now, looking at stepping one foot up, one foot down, I can do this in reverse as well, by the way, and you'll see that in a moment. But again, I'm just doing about 5 of each, kind of waking up my knees, my hips, center, core stabilization in the center. Doing the other foot as well, still paying great attention to really good form. That's important. So my knee is over my heel as I go up and down. But I love a lunge. Love it even more here. Now you'll see me do it in reverse. So it's same move, but the back leg is elevated here. So I'm kind of waking up that back foot all the way up through the leg, through the muscles there. And again, there's a sense of balance here more than there was before that I've got to activate. And that means your core wakes up and you cannot be doing the grocery list while you're doing these things. So remember, any warm up move that you do on the floor, we're activating 30 to 50 times more muscle micro contractions here on the power plate. So I love to do a little rotation. Spinal rotation gets the spine warmed up, opens up the chest. Thoracic spine gets a good stretch and extension. So nice, easy move. This is great between long bouts at the desk for that matter, but great to warm up. Also could be a part of your cool down. I like to warm up through my hip and glute, especially because we are often what we call corporate athletes, meaning we sit a lot. It's like an endurance event. And then we expect our bodies to respond really well when we go demand things of it in the gym or at home in the gym. So I hold between 15 and 30 seconds each leg here. This is great, again, warm up or cool down, or you're just a little tight maybe from yesterday's workout. And then you also are fair game for a little bit of love. All right, that is Moses, by the way. So again, 15 to 30 seconds holding each of those poses. You could hold them a little longer, but you're not necessarily gaining a ton more benefit by a long hold. So if you're in a hurry, you just need to do it 15 to 30 seconds. Notice here I'm holding a little bit longer. This leg, for me, a little bit tighter, not as comfortable. So I maintain a little more time on it, and I've also got a little knee issue going on this side. Coming back and off, so into a little core stabilization. I'm pushing back through the heels, by the way, and just maintaining shoulders over my hands, adding a little more difficulty, which is what we call an intelligent plank as opposed to a stupid one, right? And no condescending or disrespect, but you need to move those limbs. So just holding a plank stable doesn't get you really what we want from doing it. So lifting the legs up, alternating out to the side, almost like jumping jacks, or up, over, back, and down is how we started. Coming down on my forearms, I will often do on palm or forearm because I'm actually trying to target bone density of my forearm wrist area. That is the last lingering little site I have a little bit of osteopenia still in. By the time I go back for my next bone scan, I'm optimistic that I will have reversed that as well, thanks to the power plate. Heavy lifting and jumping didn't do it. Neither did yoga. Now, a little bit of core. Now, you can always do core before. Don't do a lot of it. I do mostly this core activation, but I am not looking to quote unquote work my core. Remember, if you're doing it before, you want your core just awake but not exhausted. It needs to stabilize all the way through your workout for you. So you kind of want to save the good stuff for the workout, and then you can do a little specific core work later if you want to. We don't want to do 20 to 30 minutes of core on the floor the way we grew up in the 70s and 80s doing. So on the opposite side, if you have a knee issue, this may or may not be extremely comfortable. One leg at a time may be okay. Now you've got weight equally distributed on hands and legs. But if this, for instance, is not comfortable, this can be hard enough on the ground. But when you've got the power plate on and it's vibrating, it's a little more challenging. So this is not for the meek, but definitely you can try it if you'd like to. Bird dog is one of the oldest but best exercises for the spine. Cat cow. And again, any contraction you make while you're doing power plate work amplifies the contractions that are going on in the worked muscles, as well as stabilizing muscles. So great, again, low sweat. Now, this is a series that was based on research. 10 minutes, 5 days a week, or 15, 3 times a week for 6 months, improved bone density in the total hip and lumbar spine. The first one was heel raises, right? This one is squats, either up and down as I'm doing now, or you can hold this as well. Notice I'm just changing my hands. These are options. This being the most difficult, moving the arms with the body, probably the most natural, but you can also place them on the hips if that feels better. The reason hands up is more difficult is you have arms, therefore more weight above the core. So here's the static. In case you've got knee issues, you can't move up and down because each of those really bothers you, then you just go down once, you hold it, and you hold it at the depth that works for you pain-free. I like to come down and do a low. Now, what am I doing? This is mimicking a deadlift. I think if you're unable to do a deadlift with zero weight, with really good form, you have no business weighting it. And what you want is what you're seeing here from the side is my form is pretty good. My back stays fairly flat. Now I'm doing a Romanian deadlift. That's an RDL, but we start standing. We only come down to as low as we feel we maintain the spine, and we're hinging only at the hip. We're not rounding at all. This is a much safer version to begin with. I could have weights in my hand, but again, you always want to do it well with no weight before you add weight. This is, again, one of the pieces of the bone density study. They had them do heel raises, squats or sits, and leg lifts to the side. Takes a little focus to be standing on one leg. So remember, if you try this on the ground, no movement, that might be challenging enough. But I have a little bit of vibration going on, but strengthening the hip and the core for stability. This last one was about a knee lift, and we bring them either up and down. I like to do a little bit more work here and press it out to the side or front so my knee stays in position. You can see that. So I'm doing a lot of work through the core, the hip flexor, and the quadricep as I extend that leg, imagining I'm pushing something open or closed with my foot. And whenever you're balancing on one leg, that core is definitely active. Repeating myself, but any of those standing one leg things, we're working on balance, and you really have to focus. Remember that machine is vibrating. So this is standing on a balance beam, heel to toe. You could put a little more space between the feet to feel more stable. You want to do it with both feet. You can do it 15 to 30 seconds. Notice this one, I go a little wider, then show you putting toe to heel together. I have less space of support, meaning I'm less stable, and I'm working harder to maintain my balance in this position right now. Depending on the size of the platform top, you may not have a lot of room to play with there. This is a core exercise as well, standing on one leg, bringing the arms up, and I'm circling around. I go 5 times one direction, 5 the other. Switching legs, you will always find you have a good leg and an other leg. Not so good, really, but we stay positive when we can. Keeping your focus. So notice I'm not taking my eyes off that one point straight ahead of me. Super important. And all of these are standing core exercises that you can do that are almost as or more valuable for balance and stability. This is almost thinking you're going up and over a fence. Just touch on the front, touch behind it, making your leg or the gesture leg, if you will, do some kind of motion causes you to have to really look at your balance and maintaining stability. Working on hinges, coming down into a bent over row position. Now I can do this one with weights, but remember, do it on the ground. But what I would want you to do is do it on the power plate with it vibrating. Do the motion, get your sense of balance before you add the weights. We always want to do one, then the other, do them well before we marry something. This is an example here of one arm bent over row, kneeling with one leg, and that may or may not, again, be comfortable for you based on individual preference for the knee, but you could do them one at a time. So you have to get both those legs and make sure you get the high five from the coach when you're done, both arms doing that exercise. I like to do this. This is one of the things I will do in the kitchen, by the way, either this or balance or both while I'm waiting for dinner to cook. 9 or 10 minutes, boom, that's it. So these are side planks. And again, you're hitting forearms with bone density benefit and doing a side plank as well for the core. Top leg going up and down, by the way, activates the glutes. So lots of good happening here. Now I have a short enough torso. I can also do a chest press here. If you have a long torso from your tailbone to the neck, you may not be able to do this one. And that is okay. You don't have to do every single exercise on the power plate, but just giving you an idea of what can you do.
So there you have it, a wide variety of ways that you can use a single tool for the two most common, and actually we could go 3 or 4 most common reasons that a woman in midlife and beyond wants or needs to exercise. Our goals are often bone density. That one gets your attention and shakes you up a little bit. And it's often gaining lean muscle mass, though you may not approach it from that. You may have approached it in the past from wanting to lose weight or fat. The power plate is actually a very assistive tool in all of those things, and it unlocks the door to mobility, which will be a problem for any of us if we get too old without the mobility to do the things that will help us with the strength and the muscle to decrease fat and to increase the bone. So for that reason, this is one of my biggest regrets, that it took me as long as it did to adopt it. I had an opportunity 10 years prior. I've been a fitness professional for 42 years, and I advise gyms on what to buy, what they should buy, what's worth the investment, both for them. Obviously, they're interested in revenue generation, but they only generate revenue if they help people get results that they want. I'd adopted it for the gyms I was working in and advised others that I consult with. Not only had started it sooner for myself. We don't know what we don't know till we know it. Now I hope you know it a little bit sooner. If you have questions about whole body vibration, let me know. You can check down below for my link and a huge savings depending on when you're watching this.